So here's the first example of using traffic lights. On this one we're going to go straight ahead. So we check the mirrors on approach, we don't signal, and we position in the left hand lane unless it says otherwise on the floor. So you can see here the left hand lane is for straight ahead and left, the right hand lane for right turns. We're going straight ahead, so we would have priority over the person opposite that's going right towards our left. So when the lights do change, get to the biting point, handbrake off, and away we go, keeping our normal driving position, driving down the road, a fairly straightforward one to start off with. So on this one here we're also going straight ahead, so we check the mirrors and we don't need to signal, position in the left hand lane. But those opposite have got a different set of traffic lights to us, so you can see they're going at the moment. When our lights change and we set off, there's actually no one there at the moment, but they will have a red light on the opposite side on this occasion. That's not always the case on all lights, but on this particular set of lights that is the case. So here's another set of lights where we're going to go straight ahead. I check the mirror and see there's someone very close behind. If you look on the floor, it's the right hand lane to go straight ahead this time. Because there's someone close, the lights do change as I get there, but it's safer to continue through. I want to just get through these lights now. But we use the right hand lane to go straight ahead there because it said so on the floor. On this set of lights we're going to turn left, so I check the mirrors, signal left, because it's always mirrors signal manoeuvre, and I position in the left hand lane of the two. Now just as I stop, the lights change, so I'll put it in first and then keep the car moving. Again, I'm just checking the mirrors again. I can get into second before I turn, and a fairly straightforward turn for us there. It's quite a wide junction, and then mirrors again as I get into the new road before I pass these cars. On this junction we're turning left, mirrors, signal, manoeuvre, but just as I get to them, you see there's only one lane, but I'm positioning to the left of that lane, but the lights change just as I get there. So into first gear, just as I'm stopping, and then away we go into the new road, and then I'll change into second in the new road. I'm going to do a left turn at these lights. I'll check the mirrors and signal left. On these lights, it's a T-junction, and there are filter arrows, green filter lights, that tell you that you can go without needing to give way to people. So at the top of this road there'll be a filter arrow that goes left and right that tells the people to my right that they can go without needing to give way to anyone. So the lights have changed, off we go. You can see there the filter light on the traffic lights, and then we're going to be turning left, and if there's a choice of two lanes in a new road, we should always choose the left lane unless we know we need one of the others for a different reason. So the left lane there goes towards the bus stop, so we need this one to go straight ahead. And as always, you want to stop at the white line without going past it. When the lights do change, you'll see that we do have a filter arrow here also that points straight forward to say that we can go straight forward, but we cannot turn right. So we're driving up this road, more lights at the top of here, and like I said before, we want to make sure we stop at the line. You don't want to overshoot the line and go past the solid line like the car on my right did. You just want to make sure you stop at the solid line. And if necessary, put the parking brake on, because if you want to use your clutch control, you might end up edging forward little by little and getting quite close to pedestrians that want to cross. So it's better sometimes to just put the parking brake on and be patient. Now you should be able to make out that there's extra lights on both the right set of traffic lights and the left set. There's a filter arrow that says we can turn left on this set, and over to the right there a filter arrow that says that they can turn right without giving way to oncoming traffic. As always, we always stick to the mirror signal manoeuvre routine at traffic lights and other junctions. Now as you can see on this next example, there might not always be a filter light. So we're turning right at these lights. I've checked my mirrors already and I'm signalling right, positioning in the right hand lane. It's just a regular circular light, and as we stop we're just waiting for the traffic, but those opposite have got a different set of lights to us, but there's nothing saying so. So when we set off, we just want to make sure that they don't set off as well, believing that it's time for them to set off, but their light is actually on red when ours changes to green, even though it's not a filter light. You can see in this new road there's two lanes coming down. We don't want to steer too early, we want to make sure that we keep over to the left hand lane as we enter the new road. Now this is the same junction but from the opposite side. I check the mirrors, signal right, positioning the right hand lane, and then I'm slowing down and we can see that the lights are still on red, so we're going to stop at the line. Now those opposite have got a different set of lights, even though there is no filter green arrow telling us that we can turn right. So when we set off, they're on red opposite. We can look into the road to decide when to steer. We want to steer nice and gently and make sure we don't cut the corner, especially when there's a little crossing island there. On this next right turn at traffic lights, there could be cars opposite that are setting off at the same time as us. So again, check mirrors, signal right. There's only one lane, but I'm going to position just to the left of the centre line. As we go forward, I don't want to go too far forward. I'm looking into the road to decide when to steer, and then we're turning into the new road. There was no one coming on that occasion that we needed to give way to. Now this junction's a little bit more difficult to decide where to position. So I start as always, mirrors, signal, manoeuvre. There is just one lane, but I'm positioning to the right of it. Now on the opposite side of the road, cars in the right hand lane could come straight ahead as well as right, so I need to be aware of that. There's no position in the middle marked by markings, so I need to figure out myself where to stop if I needed to stop. So to do that I need to look into the road. You can see a car turning right there and one coming straight ahead from the same lane. So we're looking into the road, we don't want to go too far forward, and then when it's safe we will turn and get out of the way. Now when turning right at this particular set of lights, we're going to check the mirrors and signal right as always, and then we want to position just left of centre. There's only one lane marked out on the floor. There seems like there's enough room for two cars, but I just decided to hold back a little instead of squeezing past the car on the left. Now when the lights changed, there is actually a filter box in the middle which shows me where I should position if I needed to wait to give way to oncoming traffic. You can see the car in front of me now just pauses in the box. There's a diagonal line separating our box from the box of those opposite. You can see the line, and we want to turn in good time so we don't cut across that line into the box for those opposite. On this one there is a filter box for right turners. We use the mirror signal manoeuvre routine. It's quite a long box, and to look into the road it's better to judge it that way because we don't need to go all the way up to the top of the box before we turn. So sometimes use your own judgment and decide for yourself. Now coming from the opposite side and turning right again, mirrors, signal, manoeuvre. The filter box is quite a short box on this side. It was long on the opposite side, now it's short on this side, so we may need to stop a lot earlier. We don't want to go into their filter box on the opposite side, so again, don't go over the diagonal line that separates our filter box from their filter box. You can just see it on the floor there in the middle, so we can't go as far this time. Got a couple of cars coming towards us, so we just pause in this box and then turn so that we're not going into their box on the opposite side, making sure we turn, keeping on the left hand side of the road that we're entering. Now generally speaking, with these filter boxes when we're turning right at traffic lights, we use the 2-car rule. If there are 2 cars already waiting to turn right in the middle of the junction, then wait behind the solid white line. Generally speaking, that's a good rule of thumb. So if there are 2 cars in the middle, I will wait behind this solid white line until there's enough room to get into the middle myself. We don't want to end up stranded on the pedestrian crossing when the lights change. So fast forward a little, the lights change, we're going to move to the centre and look into the road to decide how far to go. We don't want to go past the diagonal line, but we don't want to go too far forward and make it an awkward turn, so looking into the road helps you decide. Now that's a big enough gap for me. I was able to turn and get out of the way of the traffic. So I'm at the front of the queue again, I'm turning right, I'm going to move forward, but there's quite a lot of traffic opposite, so I will have to stop on this one. So we're looking into the road to make sure we know where to stop, but also making sure we don't go past this diagonal line in front of us. So we're not going to rush, the lights are on green, we're just going to wait for a suitable time to go, checking into the road occasionally and up the road and making sure no one's crossing in this new road, and then we can turn safely. With this example there isn't a filter box in the middle, we're going up a hill. It's a little bit more difficult, so as always, mirrors, signal, manoeuvre. and we have to stop at the white line. So we always stop at the first solid white line. Now there are cars opposite, none of them are turning right, but you can see there is no filter box in the middle, so we need to judge where to stop. The best thing to do is move forward slowly and look into the road to determine the best place to stop. So you can see our lights are changing now. I move forward very slowly, just staying off the gas as we get moving, so it goes very slow. But then there's quite a lot of traffic, so because we're up a hill I will put the parking brake on and then get prepared for after this white car. The gap is there and away we go. We're turning right at these lights, but those opposite cannot turn right at that particular junction. Now there's nothing saying that on approach, it just happens to be at this set of lights where the red car is, they can only come straight ahead from that particular lane, and the other lane is for left turns only. So you can see on the floor there is a yellow boxed area, it's called a box junction, and you're not allowed to enter that yellow box unless your exit is clear. So the only time you're allowed to stop on that is if you're turning right and your exit is clear. The only thing that's stopping you turning right is oncoming traffic. So when the lights change, I'm going to move forward. It's a two-laned road that I'm entering. I want to enter into the left-hand lane of the two, so I can come quite far forward, stop just past this box junction. We're waiting for a suitable gap. Lights are on green, we've got a gap there, so as I enter this new road, I'm staying in the left-hand lane and keeping my normal driving position to make progress. So this is the last example on this video. We're turning right at the traffic lights, so again mirrors, signal, manoeuvre. The middle lane goes straight ahead, the right lane goes right only, and the left lane goes left only. We know that because it's marked on the floor. Now the filter light comes on to tell people in the left lane that they can go left before our light comes on to tell us that we can go right. So you can see those to the left are already going. Then we get the lights on that say that we can go ahead and left also. So because it's a filter arrow, there should be no one to give way to opposite. Their light is on red. We can just turn into the new road.